This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Welcome everybody to the July 2026 Commission on Disability meeting. First, we're just gonna do a roll call. So we're missing Skrill, and then Jeff's not here yet. Also Louise hasn't been here. So maybe you check in with her and ask. Okay. Has anybody talked to Allison downstairs?
Actually, I'm Johanna Stacy. I'm the senior planner. Allison had a meeting conflict, so she wasn't able to discuss.
Got it. Okay.
Do you mind spelling your name for me? Sure, Johanna, Johanna. And my last name is Stacy, Stacy. Okay, thank you. First names.
Did Bryce mention he wanted to leave?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. It has to do with just his interests have been changing, and then also that he moved to I believe it's Northampton or Amherst, actually.
Did he do an official letter to resign?
I can definitely check into that. I'm not sure though.
Until he does
You
that,
would know for sure though, right? So I'll write it down.
I would not know for sure. There's a breakdown in communication, like,
Okay,
so.
so I'll check into that.
Yeah, but Steve has applied to be a member.
Yes. Which will have him introduce himself in a minute. And who else are we missing?
Bruce.
Yep, Bruce too.
And then Fred Pelka have been coming.
Yeah.
I don't know where his application stands.
I just read it and then said it was fine. So it's floating around. And then
I did
Steve
send
did one,
minutes.
an application.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yep. It, we actually handed it directly to the mayor himself.
I just need to double check.
Yes, that was a while ago, right? Maybe like 3-4 weeks ago or something like that. It's one of those weeks where it was like the heat wave.
Oh.
It was, I mean, just even walking 2 blocks was kind of tough.
Yeah, really. I applaud your tenacity.
Okay. So then maybe Fred's I haven't seen because Steve I saw.
Do you want to get the
We keep losing people when we gain people, so I can't get past. Defend up. Okay, so I haven't heard from any of those people, Jeff, Louise, or Bruce. So we do not have a
Staff interview.
I thought that was my phone.
Why do you want to work with us?
He'll be using the communication device to communicate.
Great.
So please don't mind the button. It'll talk out loud.
So who's not? Jeff, Bruce, Louise, 0, not here.
So then we cannot vote on the minutes. Okay. Okay, so there's nobody here for public speak. All right, so did you want to introduce yourself?
Would you be a good job coach in CBD as a
So
staff?
where's your name? Where's your name, Steve? They're
My
asking.
staff.
They're asking what your name is.
Back off. Oh. Mm.
My name is Steve.
Where do you live in Easthampton?
Number three. My house.
Use the talker to say it.
Oh.
Use device.
Where's Easthampton?
My name is Steve.
Okay. So. Oh.
With your dad and your mom?
Yes.
In town, but where?
Yes.
It's like Pomeroy Road.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like all the way over there. Get to see the beautiful mountain, right? You see the mountain from where you live.
Is there anything you want to tell us about you?
Oh, so you. Mm.
About me, right there. Yeah.
I am 44 years old.
You're 44 years old.
Yes.
Okay.
My birthday is April 16th, 1982.
Is there anything else that you want to share?
Boom.
I live in Easthampton,
There you go.
Massachusetts.
What about this one? Because this is what she was asking.
My address is 2 Pomeroy Street.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, did you want to? Let's introduce ourselves.
Do you want to start, Eli?
Sure. I'm Eli Damon. I'm the vice chair of the commission.
I'm Leslie Tain. I'm the clerk of the Commission. So clerk and secretary are basically the same thing.
Okay.
Angelique, I'm the chair.
Melanie, I'm from Riverside Industries. I am Steven's job coach. Now your turn. The one that says Steve.
My name is Stephen Light.
Mm.
Mom's email address is elight122@gmail.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
helpful to have.
if you need it.
And I'm Johanna Stacy. I'm the senior planner in the planning department.
Okay, thank you. So, not sure how to change gears here because normally we have a speaker every month to learn about different things in the community, different businesses. And then that takes up like a good portion of the meeting. I didn't plan one because what we planned on doing today was working on strategic planning and where we want to go with the group. That makes it very hard when also half of the group is missing.
And then Cyril was going to
Like
lead us,
guide.
and he's not feeling well today, so he's not here.
So maybe a short meeting. We'll see. Okay. Let's see. So the first thing that we should talk about is a reading event that's happening on July 26th.
So I printed out some flyers.
Where's my mind?
G
I printed out some flyers so that
O
we can
A.
distribute them. If I already they're up at the Inclusive Community Center in Northampton.
Okay.
That's where Whole Children, that's part of ServiceNet. It's where Whole Children is. So it's up there. Actually, I put up the one with all of the chambers because this is an event that we're like coordinating with the Northampton and Amherst Chambers on Disability to do like a story hour for children. 26th, Sunday the 26th. Angelique has been organizing it. And so I made a flyer. It's up there. It's up, it should be up. I gave it to them at the Big E and also at River Valley Co-op. So, so I don't know if anybody goes there. I think it would be great to put one up at Riverside if you.
Yeah, we have a little bulletin board
Yeah.
too.
I'll give it to you.
Certainly,
Would
yeah.
you like one too, Steve?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, so I was able to print some out. I snuck like 10 here and there at work. So I got a little stack.
I could probably take a second one because I have a yeah, just give me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the event, just to remind folks, is happening at 50 Arrow by Eastworks. To have this in the library, but for some reason I thought maybe they had moved, but they didn't move yet. So what is that over there then? Why do they call it the annex if they haven't?
I think there's some programming
Oh, that happens in
or
there.
some groups have used the space, but it's not sort of.
So maybe I could have used the space. Oh, well, that's all right. It's a Jupiter Club or whatever. So it's kind of in the middle. It's a nice, if you haven't been in there, it's nice wood floors. I held some dance events in there. It's has artwork, like they keep putting up artwork from different folks who have collections that they're presenting. So I know some people have said, you know, what ages, and it's really all ages, right? So we want to make sure we don't say that it's just for kids. So anybody that would enjoy hearing some stories. In terms of who's reading, there's Jeremy, who is the former chair for the Northampton Commission on Disability. He's going to read a couple of books. They've already picked, I told them to pick the books out and get back to me, so they've already told me what they are. And then there's a second person who's just somebody from the community who struggles. He said he's very open about it, so he struggles with dyslexia, so he wants to challenge himself to read under the nervous conditions. So he's got a couple of books. And when I say they have a couple of books, like I took out like 30 books from the library, so I'll be providing them. And then I wanted one more person. I was going for a disabled vet, and I did get somebody that responded, and now they're not answering me. So that person might be out. There was a fourth person that just contacted me maybe yesterday. It's like a slippery slope because some people message me and say, this is my disability. Like, would I be good? Are you only looking for physical disability? I'm going to say, what is your disability? Because, you know, I don't know that somebody would lie and say, like, say they had a disability and I don't. I'm not sure how to pick somebody over another person if I don't have any information on that. So I'm not sure how to handle that. Because it's not even legal, is it, to ask somebody what they're.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like a very slippery
Yeah.
slope depending. Although, I mean, disabilities are very. I mean,
Right, they're
there's
all-
so
yeah,
many.
such a big
There's so
spectrum.
many that it could be really anyone could technically,
I think you could say, our intention is that all of the readers are people with qualify. But just tell them what we're looking for.
Right, they know.
And ask them if they consider themselves to be a person with a disability.
Yeah.
And then I think that's enough.
Right, yeah.
Well, and then the next, I've said to them, and if you wanna, you don't have to, when you get up there reading, if you want to describe what your disability is, you can, or you cannot. You don't have to. And if we don't get a third person, I will just do it because I'm a disabled vet. So we'll be fine either way. And originally I was not aware that 50 Arrow had any tables or chairs, because I've been in there and they got the tiniest of closets and there's 2 chairs in there. So I know somebody was helping us get chairs and tables from somewhere else, but we don't need them any longer because 50 Arrow does have access to the tables and chairs. And then on the way here, the assistant.
Evan LeBeau,
Yeah,
I think he's the assistant to the mayor. Is that
that's the official title? Okay, because I know there was around wording.
Oh, I'm not, that's just my guess.
Yeah, okay. So they asked how much money we want for snacks, and I said like 45. I don't know. Last time we did something, 35 was enough. So trying to think if there's anything. The flyer to Jonathan at the library and asked if he could share it with other libraries. So he said, sure. Is there anywhere else we can think of that would be a good, maybe non-traditional place to send them that we're not? We've had so many businesses come through here that I can't think of them off the top of my head.
I mean,
and you're of course posted.
Yeah, I posted it first
And
at
I made a
ServiceNet,
Facebook event.
and I posted it on our Facebook, yeah. And I have another couple, at least one more Facebook post that's gonna go up that talks about it. I mean, and Melanie's gonna post it at Riverside. Stavros was one that came in, but they're in Amherst.
Yes, Jason, he's the one that wants to share it. So. And then the mayors of it, or Evans, they put it on their website.
And he made a post about it too.
Oh, good. Fantastic. All right. Well, if you think of any other places, let me know.
Maybe child-oriented places.
Well, like Young World is right in town.
Oh yeah, that's true. See, thinking outside the box. Daycares, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, is there anything more about the story hour? We're doing it, guys. We almost didn't do it. We're doing it. Okay, we'll move on then. As far as recruiting new members, Steve, how did you hear about our position?
Fortunately, his communication device died. So I'll be doing a lot of helping. So he heard it from Riverside. He's also a friend of Bryce. So Bryce was one. Steve is very into politics. He's very, he's very what's the word? Very passionate about it. So that's why he wanted to join, because he wanted to start, learning, expanding his interests, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is, Eli, no one's on still?
No one is on.
I definitely did not get a message from Jeff, Bruce, or Louise.
Huh.
So, and then, Fred, Elka, I thought he might be.
I used the link in the agenda. So,
Um,
And nobody has sent a message. I don't think.
that's just a lot of people missing. Wasn't Pelka here last meeting?
Yep, the last one, he came in person, and the one
Yeah.
before that. Yep,
That's what I thought.
the one before that, he came virtually.
Maybe everybody's on a nice little vacation. All right, so. I mean, we still, in terms of recruiting new members, in the past, we were always at the farmer's market, but that is a kind of a big undertaking to sit there for all those hours. Usually it's Eli that primarily does it. But it is a big undertaking. So if you think of other ways to get new members, let me know. Let's see.
I want to put in the minutes, like, what time would you like the people who are coming to volunteer at the story hour to show up?
So in my mind, 15 minutes before,
Okay,
but I don't know if we have any people that 15 minutes before means show up 15 minutes after. Because if they're reading, right, 3 people, they might not be reading. Like I have to make an order, I guess. I don't know.
and Cyril and Jeff said that they were gonna come.
That's what I thought, yeah.
So should we say like 12:30? They should be there to help set up and,
Yeah, Jeff and Cyril, yes. The other people, I guess, quartered up and then still have to hang out, wait their turn and perfect. Other questions? Glad you thought of that. And can you see the Facebook event? Deb? Because sometimes it only lets me invite 4 people. And I'm like, what is wrong with my Facebook?
I saw it,
Okay,
yes,
and it's public, correct? Okay.
I saw it.
I'm
I
gonna
think
double check
so.
because I've made events in the past that are public and somehow it changes it somehow in the last minute to only my friends and then I can't share it. So I did post the flyer in maybe 30 different groups on Facebook. I belong to a lot of groups, so. All right. Gee, oh, I have an email that just popped up from Bruce. Family emergency. All right. So, let's talk about the accessibility ordinance update. Eli, do you want to say what the accessibility ordinance is?
yeah, so the idea, we're working on this ordinance and the idea of it is that, if you have an event or a space, that the public is invited to, we'd like you to, basically make it easy for people to find out whether it's accessible to them or not. So putting up a list of accessibility features and a contact person, an accessibility contact person. that, yeah. So that's what the ordinance would look like.
Is there anything you want to add, Leslie?
Just that the idea is not that we're asking people to provide additional accommodations. We're just trying to get them to list what accommodations they have so that people are aware when they're planning to go, what's there. And that the contact person knows those things so that, you know, the whole idea is just to make it easier for people with disabilities to attend events.
So an example would be when we had cultural chaos, nobody would know where the accessible bathrooms are. So in doing that event, there should have been a contact person to ask that. And also it should be listed somewhere where the parking spaces are, the bathrooms are, or just something like that.
So not necessarily like signs pointing, it's like you're going to someone with that information, right?
So this is, I mean, signs too, but this is the power that we have is to ask city councilors to make an ordinance so that it's legally,
Yeah,
right? Because so if we were looking at the Facebook event or an Instagram event about cultural chaos, we would want somewhere in there to be a phone number of somebody and an email address and or an email address. And the whole point is for it to become second nature, just to list what kind of accommodations you have, because that's really embarrassing for folks and exhausting to have to like call a bar and ask X, Y, and Z, and you get somebody that says, I don't know. I have no idea. Or I remember my kids went to Maple Street School and there's an elevator, but it goes to one floor, but not the other floor. And that would have been good to know before I dragged my grandmother that couldn't walk
yeah,
to the school,
yeah.
who then couldn't visit my kid's classroom. So it should have been listed like elevator that goes down to the basement, and that's it. And again, I mean, it's tricky to have a contact person because they can't work 24/7. So you could write and not, you know, I was thinking about this. I don't know if this is slow moving. This ordinance thing has been years. It's just turtles and politics. Like maybe there should be a suggested time in which somebody gets back.
What about like the websites too? Like
Yes, the website should have the stuff listed as well.
Yeah.
Yes, yep. Yeah. I don't know what a reasonable amount of time is, because if I'm calling up today for something later today, if we said 24 hours, that would be stupid. Like that wouldn't help the person that's emailing or calling.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the situation. Right.
So,
Like
yeah.
what the event is and how far in advance of the event you're calling. And
Yep. So the other piece of that is that we sat down, a couple of us, and we had to come up with a little, I don't even know what you want to call it, a legend, a little thing that has a list of some of the accommodations that most people think of, right? Everybody always thinks about parking and wheelchairs. That's pretty much it, right? And so this list, Eli, you don't have it easily over there, right?
No.
Wait, you don't have to, let me see, because I think I might have copies. And this is our space, this shelf. Just so you know, we got a whole shelf, with our big sign in here. I thought I put some in here. I swear I did. Okay, maybe not.
Is it on our webpage?
I don't think so. I don't think it is yet.
Right.
Oh, this is what it even now. It bit me. No, I'm not over there. So we went category by category. I don't know, what are some, off the top of my head, what are some, like, I think one of them was like listing if you had like a quiet room or if somebody's overstimulated. What are some-
Fragrance free, if there are steps inside the venue. It's been a while since I looked at it. I would have to,
Yeah, there's a lot of categories.
there were categories about like sight impairment, hearing impairment, mobility impairment, like sensory issues. We had things in all of those different categories about how those things could be accommodated.
I think one of them, that we put down that I know that I run into being somebody who's disabled is about getting your money back, if you can't go. Right? Because like if I was to buy a concert ticket, they would charge you whatever to buy insurance in case you got sick or whatever. And so that's where that stemmed off in my mind. If you pay for something and you can't go. This list is not saying that they do offer it. It's a list for the supervisor or owner or workers to look at and kind of go down and be like, okay, that's one we offer. And maybe while they're reading it, they'll get inspired. Maybe they'll have stuff they weren't even thinking about. And we only made the list so long because we could have gone all day, right? Because there's so many, like you said earlier, disabilities. I know one of the ones that always helped my grandmother at like my kids' schools, she's hard of hearing. So I would say, oh, can you please save my grandma a seat up front? Because otherwise she's not going to hear a single thing. Nobody would think that's an accommodation, right? Most people would they don't want to ask. They're sitting in the back. They're not seeing their family perform, whatever it is, right? So even if it was a bar or whatever, some sort of venue. So that list has been created. And then the next step that we had, a couple of us met with their two chambers of commerce. There's the Easthampton one and the LGBTQ one, and we met separately. And so I believe it's July 16th. Can't think of the time right now, but we're gonna do a Zoom meeting, present that list, and then trying to think, Eli, because it was city councilor, it was Felicia and Connie who came, and the idea with the Chamber of Commerce is that when new businesses start, part of the package is like, here's this list.
Right.
You need, in order to be part of the chamber, I need you to like fill this out and take it seriously. Or how do we want to say it, Eli?
Well, that you would use this list as it's a list of examples of accessibility features, right? That you can check and say, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this.
He was going to make it part of the what is it called? Onboarding package.
Right.
So again, that's another way of trying to make it just everyday thing that people think about disabilities. The other question I personally had, I don't know if I want to ask this on camera, because I'm supposed to know the answer as a chair. But really, what is the language that we're supposed to be using? Is it differently abled or is it disabled? Is our name even correct?
Commission on Disabilities.
Yeah.
I think that is pretty standardized. Commission on Disabilities. I think so I work at ServiceNet. So we have in the communications department. So we have this conversation all the time.
Okay, good.
Because it's always evolving, right? There's not one right answer. And so what what we go with is that if we're talking about an individual, it's always that individual's preference. So some people prefer person first language. So it would be a person with a disability, like Jean has autism,
As opposed to is autistic.
or is,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
or identity first. That's how you refer to that. So yes, she is
Person
autistic.
first, then
So the difference is person first or identity first.
So what about when I'm writing the description, right? So I'm like, oh, this is for disabled folks. Like,
So
that I can-
disabled folks, if you say disabled folks, that is identity first. It's a disabled person. And then if you say a person with a disability, that's person first language. So if disabled comes first, that's identity first language. If person comes first, then that's person first language. And
Right. I was also asking about whether or not using the word differently abled as opposed to
so
disabled.
you know, we try to follow like, you know, what's going on in the disability community, because as always, the expression nothing about us without us. So on our communications team, we do have one person who is autistic, and she really helps us figure this out. But where we are falling right now, and this is always subject to change, is that with almost all disabilities, it's person first language, a person with a disability. Except for autism, because in the autistic community, there are a lot of people who are advocating for identity first language. So they want to be known as autistic people. That's kind of where we are. The feeling at this moment in time is that differently abled people find condescending. They don't want to be referred to as differently abled. They feel like it's like softening. But you know, there's a lot of nuance, and like different individuals have different ideas about it. And so if someone says, I want to be referred to as differently abled, then of course we would refer to them that way.
Okay.
You know, if anyone expresses a preference, we follow their individual preference.
Making sure I'm not being coming off as insensitive, because I don't mind being called disabled.
It's such a sensitive subject because the scope of disability is so huge. And sometimes people can speak for themselves, and then other times people don't have, aren't verbal, they can't speak for themselves. And so who makes that decision for them? So we talk about this all the time in the communications department, because we want to be appropriate and sensitive to everybody. And we certainly don't want to say things that alienate or make people with disabilities feel uncomfortable or othered. But it's, it changes all the time. And like, and people have very strong feelings about it.
So I do know maybe 2 years ago, an entity in town, they were like, oh, handicapped people are free. I was like, because I believe that one's completely out the door, is it not? It's not handicap parking anymore, is it?
It's disabled parking. Yeah, I mean, it would be lovely if someone made like a final ruling on this, but that's not going to happen. And then I say it would be lovely, but then I'm sure a lot of people would be like, no, it's not lovely. Don't do that. So yes, handicapped is not currently in favor. And what we're trying to do, which I think a lot of people who talk about people with disabilities try to do, is person first language, person with a disability. And differently able does not necessarily, I mean, some people like it, but it's not like in the mainstream right now.
Okay. That's good. And then when I asked, because it was, you could swim for free, it was like, adults, children, handicap, just one word. So then I tried to write and say, like, what do you mean? Like, do you mean with a handicap placard? Because, and does it expand, like somebody with ADHD that considers themselves disabled, like, can they come swimming for free? Because that may be half of Easthampton. And then how do they prove that? Do they have to prove it? And legally, like, you can't be asking for documentation. So like, I didn't get an answer to any of those questions. So there they are trying to do something nice, but also I would have had us announce it in this meeting, but I never got the answers. So I'll have to look this year and see if they use different wording, more direction. Yeah, I don't know what it is you bring. I just don't know. A handicap, does that mean just somebody that comes up and looks disabled?
Yeah, it's, I feel that many people have good intentions. And then some people I feel like get scared away from it because they don't want to do the wrong thing. But I think as always, when you're talking about anyone's identity, it's very personal and very sensitive. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, and so do
So
you want to talk about some of this?
yes, so
Under
in our last meeting, we talked about that as a Commission on Disability, I forget what we are, section 8, I forget. We do have the ability to ask that the parking fines in town, when people park in disabled parking spots, are given to. How do we go about that? Because right now we have no funding. We have no way for the story hour, and I'm sneaking these prints on the down low so that don't put that in the minutes. So that so that it would be nice if we had some operating. I did some research and then I printed out my research.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Steve.
And I have asked about this year after year after year. We had a different member that was always asking.
And I think now is a good time to do it with the change in the mayoral change. It's so on the top, on the left-hand side.
Put one in the mailbox.
Well, on the left-hand side, I say what the section 22G, that's the funds received from fines for handicap parking, and this is the language on the government website, so they still call it handicap parking violations, deposits, and accounts expenditures. That the text on the right is like a summary in less like governmental language about what it says. So it says a city or town can choose to give money from handicap parking fines to its Commission on Disabilities. This money must be kept in a separate account. It can only be used to help people with disabilities. The Commission on Disabilities recommends how the money should be spent. Spending must follow the city or town's normal. Your town accountant must write a report about the account. The report goes to local officials and a copy is sent to the Bureau of Accounts. So that's kind of a summary of how it works. And then down here, disability parking fines, best practices for commissions on disability, the steps to ask the city council to approve. So I broke it down into steps, 10 steps. So we reviewed the law. That's what I just did. It says to talk to the mayor's office, city council staff, the city treasurer, and the city finance department. to tell them that we want to do this. And then we prepare a request for city council. So we have to like submit a written request, and then they vote on it to say if yes or no, if we can do it. And someone should go to the city council meeting. So here are the 10 steps on how we could get this done. Because I was like, we talk about this, but then we get stuck with, so what do we do? So steps. And then I have information about how the money should be handled and how the money can be used. So the first information I got from the government's website, and the second information I got from the MOD, the Massachusetts Office on Disability. So that is where things stand. So I think if we want to pursue this, we need like a couple people to be kind of dedicated to getting this done.
Absolutely.
So that is the research that I did on this.
Thank you for doing that.
It's good.
Thank you.
It's great, yeah. Yeah. Especially, I appreciate the summary. Everyone's attention span is,
And
so
it's
that's very
written,
nice.
legally, and I'm reading it and I'm like, could someone give me like the too long, didn't read?
Yeah,
version
literally did this
of this? Well, actually ChatGPT did that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have mixed feelings about ChatGPT.
I do too. It's a love and hate.
Yes. Yes. Pretty useful. When I was teaching, I would write my lesson plan, and then I would say, make this like a 9th grade level reading level.
Oh.
And that was really helpful.
Cool. Cool. In some things it is very, helpful. It is.
It is. And like, I felt like I was doing all the like thinking, working through, coming up with ideas, like the creative part of it I was doing, but then I was like, translate this into 14-year-old
In language. I like that.
Wow.
So yeah, I have mixed feelings about it, but that's what I did for this.
Thank you. All right, so we'll have to ask folks. So many folks.
Do you know how you wanted to draft a memo? Oh. Proposing what, so that you can, that memo then becomes what you can present to city council.
Yeah, and I'm happy to start to work on that.
Okay.
I would love feedback from the whole commission, because like one of the things they want us to do is say, like, what do you want to do with this money? Why do you want this money? And I can come up with some ideas, but I'd love to get feedback from everybody.
Okay.
So I will.
I know that when I talked the last night or about it, I got different answers at different times, but I know I was told at one point, that you can't just have money, like they wanted, it had to be specific things and not a pool of money waiting for us to use it. And I was like, wait, but they were like, how much are you requesting? This has been, so I've been on the commission, I don't even know how long, 12 years, 10 years, I don't know, lifetime. But well, what is it you want the money for? Like, we want like $500 to sit in an account because we know things will happen. Like, we want to make a banner or we want to do this, and like, I'm sorry, but like, it has to be line items that you want, because you're not going to be, and we have brought this up 1,000 times. So that didn't make sense. That's what an account is for, to have money sit there until an event pops up and we want snacks or to pay for, I don't even know. And what about the other piece, the ASL services, since there's budget cuts? I mean, they're expensive to begin with, but I'm just confused, like, are they allowed to say no? So if somebody called me today and said, wrote to me today and said, I need an interpreter, I can't come. Can they say no?
I don't know.
Because right, I know,
I think, if there's a certain amount of, if they say we need an interpreter tonight, it might be hard to like find somebody for that. But if somebody's calling a few days ahead, I think
right.
there's a requirement to meet that need, meet
Do you-
that accommodation.
Would you be able to find the writing where it says that requirement? Other commissions that are doing the story hours, and they also did something with us last year. They had an ASL interpreter, and so it was embarrassing for us to not like have it. And then there's everybody says the catch-22, right? So we'd rather have one so that people don't have, even though it's not the cheapest thing in the world. And they're like, but then if nobody needs it, then that was a big chunk of money for nothing.
I think most public meetings, formats, events usually have a disclaimer somewhere in the outreach materials that says if you need accommodation services. Figure out how to do that.
But I was already told no. I was already told no twice by
So
the
I,
office behind me.
I think what might be helpful as part of a memo is having, if there are expenses that you've had previously, or that you, if you had examples of those things, I think that's
Oh,
helpful.
we did in the past, and they didn't.
right, but
That's
to put in
helpful
the memo,
drafting the memo, like
Yeah.
the cost to provide an ASL interpreter for X hours is this much. So if we had $500, we could have an interpreter available for 3 different events or.
So this
What have
this
you.
might sound, I don't know, to me, the interpreter should have come out of our funds. Because them all.
but then, I mean, all the funds have to be allocated, right? So like, what other fund would cover that?
I thought the city just had to, that's what I was, the thing that I forgot the name of the thing you just said. What the law is, ordinance, whatever it is about that. So if somebody came to a city council meeting, we wouldn't be paying for that. But
That should be,
I thought just the town would pay for that.
right, if the city was aware, my understanding is the city is aware that there's a need for this service ahead of time, that they have a responsibility to try to fulfill that.
Right, that's what I thought. And so that's where the catch-22 happens. Well, did somebody request it? No. Well, then we're not gonna provide it. But then people don't wanna request it who need it because they're embarrassed.
Right, I think, but if the city doesn't know that it's needed, per
I'm
se,
saying
then
I've asked
it's hard
specifically
to.
for events. I have asked specifically and been told straight up no.
So I think that there's like a bunch of things in play here. So like, as became very clear with the override vote, all of the city funds have like specific things that they're allocated for. So my guess would be that within like the meeting part of the funds,
Yes.
there's for like city meetings.
There needs to be money.
There's some money in there because if they have to provide it, sometimes there must be some money in the like budget. That wouldn't be our money. But if we're an event, want to have accommodations for people, including like ASL, then we would have to use our money for that.
Right, so the difference would be a meeting versus an event.
I think so. Like, I think it's like if it's our, and then The other thing I think that we could do as a Commission on Disability is try to make it more of a priority for city events to be more accessible. I think like that could be our role. One of our things that we try to do is advocate, have, you know, closed captioning available or an ASL interpreter, like that we feel as a commission that that's money that the town needs to allocate so that people with disabilities are included. I don't think we would group it in with what we're doing because those are for businesses, and this would be us appealing to the town government, city government, and saying, you know, we as the Commission on Disability, we want to advocate for people with disabilities in Easthampton, and one way that people can be more involved is that instead of having to request translation or accommodations, that they're just always provided.
So I agree with you, but that ordinance is supposed to be city events too. Because technically that's all we are doing.
But the ordinance is about making use to find out whether something is accessible or not. It's not about making people provide the money.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it would be a shoot off, or is it a complete different,
I mean, I think what we
even
have,
wanted as an ordinance?
I think what we have done as for the accessibility ordinance that we've already worked on would inform what we might
Right. Yes.
ask for, but I do think it would be a separate thing. And, you know, I don't know if it would be an ordinance or even like an awareness campaign, or I think that those things are kind of like in our, well, you know, like,
I like it.
I feel like, I mean, part of what we did when I worked for Pathlight, which is just about disabilities.
Right.
ServiceNet has a much wider scope, but at Pathlight, before Pathlight closed, we really advocated for like visibility and awareness. Like, people with disabilities exist. They're part of our community and they should be included in all things, right? And so we made that it was part of our mission to make that like just accepted in life. Like, this is part of being a community, is including people with disabilities in every way. And so, you know, everything we did as a communications department there was informed by that, like visibility, accessibility, and awareness. And I think like when we get back to the strategic planning, I think that those could be some of the things that we think about as, you know, what are we advocating for as the Commission on Disability in Easthampton?
Do you know what happened to the project with the wayfinder signs? So
With the
long ago.
Wayfinding, I don't, right now,
I feel like it was years ago.
I think more recently there's been efforts and it's still in progress. But I don't know where it's at.
Okay. Are you just filling in today, or do you think you'll be filling in other times? We haven't seen much of her, so you have to have a person over time. We've been operating without a person.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if you asked me this morning if I can.
Oh,
I don't know how that's gonna look in the future.
all right. So our time is up. I just is there any email, Facebook updates?
No, there were not any email or Facebook things that came in.
Okay.
And we put the COD email on the flyers and everything.
Yeah.
Being an especially close eye, because I monitor that email account. If anyone has questions about the story hour, and nothing has come in.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go back on the event and just use the wording, like if you need any accommodations. So I forgot to put that in there like a smarty pants.
Yeah, I mean, I think this would be a great chance to try out what we're asking for in the ordinance
Yep.
for us to do it. And I also, Steve, I would love to hear from you about what you might like us to be thinking about as a commission for people with disabilities. Like, what is important to you?
Yes.
And that's something you can think about for the next meeting.
Yep.
To get some clarification, you mean,
So like if we're thinking about, like maybe we want to
Project.
projects that are important to people with disabilities.
Yeah.
What would be important to Steve?
got it.
Cause I'm about to go over the ones that we're working on.
I mean, that's kind of like one of the real benefits of having a person with disabilities on the commission, is to get nothing about us without us.
So if anybody has future speaker ideas, definitely let me know. And then there's World Disability Day, December 3rd. We keep wanting to do something. We haven't done something yet, but maybe we'll get there. So in the past, we had a survey so there's a bunch of subcommittees that we'd love to get going, or we already had one and then we kind of dropped it because we only have so many people with so much energy. But one of them was a community survey. We wanted to work on a second survey. And that's exactly what Leslie was just mentioning. Goes out to everybody. We need to tweak the one we have, take some out, put some back, I don't know, send it out. And then last time, what did we get? 62 or 67 responses. I thought we were going to get like 100. We were told that was a good number. How many people live in Easthampton?
16,000.
Oh, really?
Was it shared on social media?
Absolutely, yeah, a million times, yeah.
This is a while ago, so
Years ago, so
yeah.
so we need to do an updated one.
And like that could be one of the places where we spend money. Actually, I put that on the list. Because we could send out like a postcard to every
I think Jeff updated it, but so I think we're finishing that one, which it's just as many disability resources as we could on the city website. And then the other one is we have a primer that we were working on. It's a little booklet and it goes to businesses. It's old, it's very old, it's like 10 years old. And we were adding to it. It's about some basic things that businesses are supposed to be looking out for. So that should be going to I can't even think of it, the Chamber of Commerce. That's another thing that was supposed to be handed out. And then I was working on a PTSD panel. Folks who have different kinds of PTSD, they would come and speak and they would have their equal person that treats them. So to take the stigma out of PTSD, because everybody thinks it's just a veteran combat vet thing. Definitely not. So I think those are the couple of things that we want to keep working on or get people to join a subcommittee. So a subcommittee is like an hour-long or 2-hour-long meeting in between meetings. So they say projects, like that's what we're talking about. It is well past 12, so is there anything that anybody wants to say?
So what happens with the minutes? Because we can't approve them. We just
Next time I have
next
to,
month?
yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to just recap what we're gonna do real quick between this meeting and next meeting?
Yeah, there's not a ton because we have the big event. So between this meeting and next meeting, the big thing is the story hour. We're asking people to show up if they're volunteering at 12:30 and if they're a reader at 12:45. Angelique, you're gonna look into Fred Pelka's application.
Yep.
I am going to start to draft a memo to present to the city council here about the parking fines. And I think like when you're talking about like we have to ask for money, they don't want to give us money. I think this might be the solution to that is like we put it into like a actual actionable I don't know what you call them.
Well, the only other thing was that they said that they really don't
Sort
send
of
out any
creating a
tickets.
budget
Yeah,
way.
They said that they don't get any money. They get $50 a year in fines for handicap. So just putting that's what they're told.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't
what-
ticket people much.
but I think it's like one step at a time, right? If we do this, maybe then we could ask to meet with the police department and ask them if it's possible for them to write more tickets for people breaking the law. It's not like we're asking them to do something.
Eli,
Eli, good citizens here in the town.
Eli, did you want to share?
No.
I mean, I think we have to do things like one step at a time. So this would be step one. So I'm gonna start to work on the memo for that. And those are the kind of action items that we have. And then Steve is gonna think about maybe what might be important to him.
Yeah.
And see if he wants to present about that, or not present, but just talk about that.
Share, got it.
Yes.
Yeah, because, you know, if you're interested in this stuff, I'd love to hear from you. As our newest member.
All right, well, if there's not anything else, then meeting adjourns. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Yep. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, the next meeting date.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. Is it the 13th or
It's always the second
Thursday?
Thursday.
So that would be
13th, yeah.
August 13th.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.